A war in the Middle East has really thrown the entire world for a loop. We're talking, of course, about the 2026 Iran war. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how we got to this point and what it all means for you. This warning, issued just a few weeks ago, basically put the entire global economy on notice. A conflict raging in the Middle East is already hitting us right where it hurts, from the pump to the grocery store. So, how on earth did we get here? And what does it all mean, really? Well, we're going to walk through it step by step. First, the path that led to war, then the absolutely brutal 6-week conflict itself, the economic chaos that followed, and finally, the very shaky peace we're all living in right now. Okay, let's dive in. Right, so first things first. This war didn't just pop up out of nowhere. No, it was the explosive result of a full year of mounting pressure both inside Iran and from the rest of the world. And man, the dominoes just fell one after another so fast. It all started with a short, sharp conflict in mid-2025 that ended with a U.S. airstrike. That one event pushed Iran's already fragile economy right to the edge of total collapse. This, in turn, sparked the biggest protests the country had seen in decades. The government's response was swift, and it was brutal. Thousands were killed. And that's when the U.S. decided to make its move, beginning a massive military buildup that really set the stage for a direct confrontation. So then we get to February 28th, 2026. The world basically held its breath as that powder keg finally exploded. A 6-week war began, a war that would completely change the Middle East forever. The opening move was just massive. Under the codename Epic Fury, the U.S. and Israel launched this incredible decapitation strike aimed directly at taking out the top leadership. And it worked. Iran's supreme leader was killed. And then came the shock and awe, a relentless barrage of stealth bombers and missiles designed to completely paralyze Iran's military before it could even get its bearings. But Iran hit back, and they hit back hard. Missiles and drones started raining down on Israel and on American bases all across the region. But their real masterstroke wasn't a military one. It was economic. They choked off the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical trade routes on the planet, and essentially held the world's oil supply hostage. And look, this isn't just some random body of water. You have to understand, this is the jugular vein of the global economy. No exaggeration. About a fifth of the entire world's oil supply flows through this tiny channel every single day. By closing it, Iran turned a spot on the map into an incredibly powerful weapon. Now, this is where things get really interesting, where the official story just completely diverges from what was actually happening. You had the White House painting this picture of a quick, decisive victory. But on the ground, Iranian missiles were still flying, and behind the scenes, secret diplomatic talks were already underway. The reality of the war was way messier than the official version. Okay, so let's talk about the fallout, because this war wasn't some distant conflict you just see on the news. No, this was a shockwave that rattled wallets and markets all over the globe. And the numbers, they're just mind-boggling. In just 6 weeks, the U.S. was already asking for an extra $200 billion to keep the war going. Our allies in the region took a nearly $200 billion hit from the damage. And the local stock markets? Poof. Over $120 billion in value just evaporated. But of course, the cost isn't just measured in dollars. 15 American service members paid the ultimate price. It's a stark, tragic reminder of the very real human toll of all this. And on the other side, inside Iran, the humanitarian crisis is just staggering. Over 3 million people, 3.2 million, have been forced to flee their homes because of the fighting and the bombing. It's a human tragedy on a massive scale. And yeah, this war absolutely hit home for every single American. Shutting down the Strait of Hormuz sent gas prices through the roof, everywhere, and with vital supplies of food and fertilizer suddenly at risk, the threat of serious inflation and a deep recession became very real, affecting everything from our retirement accounts to our dinner tables. Which brings us right up to today, April 10th. The guns are silent, for now. But the air is just thick with tension. The fighting might have stopped, but has the war really ended? So, just 2 days ago, a fragile 2-week truce was hammered out, with Pakistan stepping in to mediate. The immediate goal was pretty clear: get that vital Strait of Hormuz back open for business and, buy some breathing room for diplomacy. But, and this is a huge but, Iran's agreement came with a massive condition. They are now the ones who control who gets safe passage through the strait. In one single diplomatic move, they've formalized their grip on the world's oil supply. It's a huge strategic win for them. So, that's the multi-trillion-dollar question, isn't it? The bombs may have stopped falling, but the tension is higher than ever. With Iran now effectively holding the keys to the world's energy supply, is this a genuine chance for peace? Or are we all just catching our breath before the next, even bigger, fight?